Hi, my creative ones. It's good to be back with you. I've been out of the studio for a while. Well, not actually out of the studio, but I have not been working on my art journal. I've been working on some other things. And today we're going to crack open our art journal, Alchemy, and take a little dive into the pages. And we're going to call upon an archetype that's very, very active in my life and has been for quite a while, and that is the mermaid. And I am going to dive deep down into my soul and hopefully find some memories and some inner truths about myself that I want to include in this art journal page. If you're new to my channel, I hope you will like this collage, mixed media collage, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you'd like to know when I do upload another video. And always thumbs up is welcomed. It does help get my videos advertised a little bit more to people in searches, and I would really appreciate it. And if you would like to make a comment, there's space below to do that too. So I'm going to switch the camera around and show you a few of my mermaids I've done in the past, and then we'll talk about what our mermaid is going to do today. So give me a second, I'll turn the camera around and I'll be right back with you. Okay, this is a mixed media magazine collage that I did a few years ago. And she is in the same size art journal that I'm working in now. She is created from magazine cutouts, some digital prints, tags, vintage stamps, vintage papers, and Posca pens, and also pan pastels in the background, and colored pencils. So this is the style I work in most of the time when I'm working in my art journals, especially in my Dancing Diva journals. So, and this is another mermaid, and I think there's a video, and I'll link it below, of a mermaid made from an octopus, made from digitals and magazine clips, tags, vintage papers, Posca pens, and pan pastels. And this is the one that I did using my By the Sea digital kit, and this ended up as the cover for my By the Sea journal that we did, and I'll link that below as well. So mermaids are very important to me. They symbolize a lot of different things. In the piece that we're going to do today, she becomes a guide for me as I dive into sometimes the murky waters of the depths of my soul. But she also is able to see through that murkiness and help me transform some things that I might find there into that might be negative, and she helps me transform those things because she does have a playful attitude into something where I've learned a lesson, or I can transform it into something that is very joyful. And we'll work on that today in our collage. So that is the past, and this is the present. And because I wanted some specific pieces of artwork, I've made up these collage sheets, and they're in my Etsy shop. And first page, I did include a mermaid tail that I'm going to change and embellish, and a little child mermaid that I'm going to use to symbolize my little girl, a treasure chest. And this treasure chest is created when this rusty safe is opened, and what could have been lots of secrets and maybe some darkness that I didn't want to look at, and I locked it away. When I opened it up, I was able to transform those things into treasures. And that's what we're going to do today. I also have some postcards that you can use for artwork in your collage, and some nautilus, seashells, and fish. These two items are things that I found in my toy chest, which is why they ended up on these sheets, but you can use them as well. And I've also included some background sheets, and these were in the By the Sea journal digital kit. And so I've included them in this. There's one that has some undersea creatures in the back. There is a blue-green, and there is a blue and gold and white kind of watery scene. So these I'm going to use in my background. So why don't we get started, and I'm going to fussy cut these images out, and I'll be right back as soon as I finish that piece. Okay, I have everything fussy cut out, and I also went through some of my magazine clips, and I was looking for a body for my mermaid, and I came across this piece, which I think will work perfectly. And I also came across this piece, which if I wanted to use this tail, she would work out really well. And I would probably cut right around her hands and tuck this up underneath those. And I also found this piece, which I think I saved to use as a mermaid tail right here. I think you can see that if I cut that out. But I really like this. I'm going to have to shape it a little bit to get this to fit with my tail. But I really like the suggestion here, the form. And I've decided, I believe, what I want to do. This one also would work as well. Just have to do a little bit of cutting and snipping and cutting around her, but she would work. She looks very playful and joyful, which is why I like her. Of course, being a Scorpio, I love this face, and I've worked on this before for another page, but I'm going to use it in this one. She looks very mysterious. So I've decided I'm going to use this for the background at the top of this page. Make sure, I think my pages might be stuck together. I'm going to use this as the background of my page because I like the way that the tail can follow this curve in this piece. And then I've taken the other piece of digital and I'm going to use this at the bottom. So I have those two pieces that I'm sure of. And I like this because I can either tuck the safe down inside this if I don't want to let the secrets out that happen to be locked in here, and I may not be ready to discover those things. So this is one option. And you know, when you're doing inner work, the things that come back to you, if you've forgotten them or tucked them away, or they are just too much for you to deal with, they'll surface when it's their time. So don't worry if your lock is still locked on your safe that is down within you. But my safe I have transformed into a treasure box. And what I found inside, I used to have this little stuffed dog, and I had him for years, and I slept with him, and I was afraid a lot when I was a little girl. I'm not sure why, but I was. And I would snuggle up beside my dog and put my covers over my head, and I always felt safe. So for me, this little dog was like my little safe stuffed protector. And so I really wanted to include him in this box. So instead of thinking about the fear that I experienced, I've dealt with all of that really through my life and now released it. But what I'm left with is my little protector. And so I want to put him in there. And then I also have this ring. And when I was looking for things to put in my treasure box, this ring came up. And when I was about, I think I was probably around 9 years old, my grandfather, for my birthday, and topaz is my birthstone, for my birthday, got me a topaz ring. And I was just so surprised and so happy, and I wanted to wear it all the time. Well, I had to get a ring guard because I had really tiny little hands, and I needed a ring guard, and my mom got me one, and I was wearing my ring, and I was playing outside. I really did play a lot outside when I was a little girl. And for somehow, I can remember I was running through what we called the weeds, which was just overgrowth beyond our backyard. And there were paths, and I was running along the path, and all of a sudden, I felt my hand, and I went, oh, my ring is gone. And I had lost my ring. And I was so afraid. Number one, I didn't want to tell my mother because I knew she would just be totally upset with me and how irresponsible I had been, and that's what I would hear forever. And I didn't want my grandfather to find out either because he was so proud of what he had given me for my birthday. And I didn't want to hurt his feelings. So I didn't want to tell him that I had lost the ring either. And I was able to keep it a secret for quite a while before my mother really found out, and which was not pleasant, to put it mildly. But I've always remembered that ring, so I wanted to make sure that I put that in my treasure chest. And there are probably other things that I will add, but I want to get this collage done, and I can't keep on telling stories. So my mermaid guided me down through the depths of my subconscious or unconscious, and was able to find my treasure chest. Now, while we were diving down, what she thought she saw was this locked safe right here. But as the water cleared, and she was my guide and told me not to worry, what we came upon was my treasure chest. And I was so excited and so happy, and I gotta put my fish in here. You know, I love my fish. That I just was overjoyed, and I started going through my treasure chest and finding things that I had really forgotten about for the most part, until I was invited by her to take this deep dive into my memories, into my subconscious, where we store things, and some things we may not remember, and some things we may remember, but they're not happy memories, and some things may be very traumatic. Now, I'm not a psychologist or a therapist or anything like that. I'm an artist, but I know what speaks to me. And I know from all of my reading and my own therapy what I need to do in order to express what my subconscious is maybe holding for me safely, which would be a positive recognition of the locked safe. But when I saw my treasure chest and I opened it up, I was just so happy. You know, my little fluffy dog was there, and I was just overjoyed with the fact that I could interact with these parts of me. And it was when I was a little girl, mostly a very little girl, but they're still alive and well within me. So right now what I'm trying to do is get my mermaid here, my very shapely mermaid, to the point where she will fit my mermaid tail. I think that'll work. Okay, I'm probably going to have to put something in that hand. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to have to turn her just a little bit here. And this is the face that I want to use. And I need another arm. And I thought maybe this one. I have these shells. I think I'm going to tuck down here. You know, mermaids have at least two sides to them. They have the joyous and playful side, and they also have that dark side where they would lure the fishermen or boatmen into their realm and destroy their ships. You know, most things, or everything in the world, has a light and a dark side. And if you look at this face, you can kind of see a little bit of darkness in there. But she was my guide. She knew where I needed to go to find my treasure that she had, or the safe had kept for years deep down in my subconscious. Okay, she needs some hair. Well, let's see what we can find. I keep my clips in these plastic envelopes in a file folder, and I'm far out of practice from putting new pieces, new snips in here, because I'm almost out of hair and headdresses, and I know I have a lot of them. So let's look at this, and I think this would be perfect for her. And I love the color with everything else that is in this collage. And you know, you'll see as you work with your collages that when you're looking for things, it's magical, really, how things just appear that you're looking for. And I just love that. Okay, maybe she needs a top knot? No. She needs flowing hair. So let's see what happens here. I think I can bring her hand down and it'll look like she's touching the top of my treasure box. Yes. Okay. I think we've got it. What do you think? remember, layers are really important in your collages. So you want to overlap things when you are putting together your collages. And I was wondering what I could use for her coverings for her breasts. And I found these brightly colored umbrellas. And let's see if they might work. When you're doing collage, you really have to kind of think out of the box when you're looking for pieces, and transform the things that you find into what you need. Oh yeah, I think so. Okay, there's one side, and okay. Okay, I think we have everything that we need right now. And so let's start gluing this down. here is our basic collage, and everything's glued in place. I have some extra pieces here that I might figure out something to do with. If not, they'll certainly go on the page over here. But I really love the way that this has turned out. And I'm just going to trim this down and I'll be right back. Okay, we have our basic collage down and trimmed. I'm just going to tuck that down. And I'm going to, on this other side, I'm going to write about this particular collage because it has a lot of meaning for me. Because, you know, the archetypes that are alive and well within us, they do respond to being acknowledged, and they do appreciate the fact that we know they are alive and well because they're all parts of us. This mermaid is me. This little mermaid down here is me as a little girl. And she looks kind of like she's dreaming about these things. And when we dive down into our subconscious and kind of crack open the things that we have hidden there or stored there or placed there for care, it is kind of like a dream, but it's real. Just like things that are in our imagination are part of a reality. They may not be part of this reality that we can touch and see and hear, but they are part of our inner reality or our imagination or our inner selves, our subconscious and our soul, our psyche. So to me, this entire collage looks very dreamy and very watery, there's a lot of emotion still attached to these images, and personally I love that, that I can still see that and experience it just like it happens, you know, yesterday, because in a way it did. You know, do I like that better? Yeah, I think I do. So diving down and cracking open things that we have down in our deepest selves is something that is very, well, naturally it's very personal. It's your personal journey back into these memories. And, you know, if there's anything that you are upset about or bothered about or still very emotionally tied to, you can let things go. At this point in your life, you still can let things go and move forward, because some of those things, if they're unhappy or frightening, you know, we can let them go now and spend the rest of our lives being joyful and not obsessing about these things in the past, because we can't do anything about them except let them go, bless them, and put them in a little package, put a beautiful ribbon on the package, and let them go. That's a meditation that I used to do when I was really working on a lot of inner stuff. And that's how I would send things on their way. And, you know, it still happened. It's still part of my history. It's still part of what made me me. But I'm not constantly reacting to things that remind me of those happenings or memories or thoughts. You know, I've dealt with those. I've dealt with it and I've let it go. And things that I encounter today, I can deal with them today and not keep going back to another time and place. And isn't that what we're kind of here to work on? I think so, at least for me. That's what I'm here, and that's what I do. And I think that's why my inner world is so rich. And so much to explore there, you know. So much is to explore. So, here's my mermaid. And now I can go in with my Posca pens and my pan pastels if I want to, with my Stabilo pencil, and start adding the details that I really, really enjoy doing. So I'm going to do a little bit of that, put some music on, do a little bit of that, and then we'll have our mermaid journey completed, okay? Okay, so I think you get the idea of where I'm going with this. I'm shading around the different images that I added to the collage in order to give a sense of depth. And I'm going in and adding embellishment to the different objects so that they will come forward and stand out more. So I'm gonna finish this while I'm off camera, and I'll show it to you. It'll be on my Instagram page and also on my Facebook pages, and they're linked down below. But I really am feeling a little emotional about this page, but because there were good memories and happy memories and joyful memories, and I haven't come up with anything that brings sadness or fear or anger or anything. I think I've dealt with all of that. That's why I don't need my safe anymore over here, but I'm going to put it on this page just to remember that I had that at one point in time, and I needed it, obviously. So I think between these two pages, I've talked a lot about my mermaid archetype that is part of me and takes me on deep dives down into my subconscious to crack open whatever is there and reveal it, and I can embrace it, acknowledge it, let it go if I need to. I can laugh, I can even cry, and still be okay. And some of those things will make me appreciate life as it is now even more, and some of those things will just be a joyful memory, and I hold them close in my heart. So this is the mermaid's journey, and I'm sure I'll go on many more of them, and I hope you do too. I hope you decided something that you would like to do. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. I hope you have a great day or evening, whichever the case may be, when you're watching this. And many blessings to you. Bye for now.